Guys, guys, hear me out. I saw Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Ridley Scott, and I loved it. I fucking loved it. Sue me, okay? It's my opinion. I freaking love this movie. It was freaking awesome, bro. Alright? Now, here's my review of this freaking movie. It's gonna be short and sweet. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, even though I want to. But so starting off, I'm not very knowledgeable on Napoleon. I just know the basis of who he is before going into this film. I just knew like the basics. I knew he was like a great French leader and very powerful man. Um, but this movie opened my freaking eyes to this guy because holy crap, this dude's awesome, bro. Now, this movie did sort of portray this great leader as kind of petty and a little childish in nature to how he's really like presented as in like historical books and like stuff. Like this is like a more of like a personal exploration of Napoleon. This movie was more of a exploration of Napoleon, like a personal sort of side to him, and it's done really well. Joaquin Phoenix kills it again. One of the best actors of all time, hands down. I love the story of this movie again as it digs into a little more personal side of Napoleon, giving him like showing more like a personality trait to the guy and more like a deeper understanding on who he was or wait, on who he is and who he was as a individual. Um, instead of more of who he was as a general, leader. I mean, it did dig into what he was mostly known for too, but I think it went into what he's also not mostly known for. And in the majority of this movie, it was mostly showed a side of him that most people didn't expect or uh, like know about him in a sense. I'm pretty sure that's why this movie was bombed by critics. Like it got trashed on, bro. Like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, bro, and audience score. Um, gosh, what else? What else? I mean, I do agree with like the pacing issues. The pacing did feel a little off in a way. Yes, the pacing did feel a little weird. Um, some of the performances were all like average, decent. They weren't like bad or anything. It was still some great performance, but not nothing like Oscar worthy, you know. And Napoleon isn't Joaquin's best performance, nor is it his worst, but he was still very good. Um, uh, yeah. Again, with the story, I loved how it dig deep into like his love life, his like his royalty, like his like fame and his power and his struggles and his issues and like Uh, yeah, and like emotion wise, this movie kind of hit deep in areas, and it worked. Um, and then the visuals, phenomenal, phenomenal visuals, bro. Yes, there was some CGI in there, not very noticeable, but you could tell that there was some like special effect use and CGI in like the grander open field fights. You know, not all of it was practical, but it felt practical. But it's common knowledge that it wasn't all practical. But gorgeous movie. I love the use of lighting in this movie, like more of a the natural lighting feel. Costume design is fantastic. Freaking loved it. Um, gosh, yeah, I love the costume designs were great. Got got my man Joaquin Phoenix on some fire outfits, bro. Like my boy looked good. He looked fresh as shit, dude. And let's see, this movie is rated R. So there was like some language pieces. Not it wasn't so bad in terms of language, but gore wise it was pretty bloody, pretty messy with some of the action sequences. Um yeah, the battles are well done, especially like the final battle was grand and epic and Ridley Scott fashion. Frick. Ridley Scott did great with this movie. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Ridley Scott, he's like a hit or miss kind of director, but he hit with this one, bro. He cooked. He cooked hard with this one. Um, but yeah, I do understand like there's like some history buffs who freaking love Napoleon. I could see how he they wouldn't take this too well. Like if they know a whole lot of Napoleon about Napoleon and who he is through like a lot of studying and observation and stuff. And then I could understand like some of the negative review aspects, but in my personal opinion, as someone who very rarely knew much about Napoleon, I loved it. I had a great time. Um, the amount of detail in this movie was great as well. As it like digs deep into like his plant, like Napoleon's great leadership and and how he was able to just conquer and persevere through a lot. Um, I can't really think of anything else about this movie, but I think it's one of the best of the year. Out of a lot of movies I've seen this year, this is definitely one of the best movies to come from this year. I give it a 9.7 out of 10. Uh yeah, that's what I give this 9.7 out of 10. Fantastic movie, some pacing issues, a little bit of writing issues, but it doesn't massively affect the overall scale of this movie and the amount of content and just greatness this movie had to offer. I recommend you should watch this. Um, I think it's great. And subscribe. Peace.